Okay, all right. So in this video, we're going to go through exporting for web, and so let's just for example's sake, pretend that the requirements here is that you need to upload a logo, and the logo has a maximum width of 400 pixels and a maximum height of 300 pixels, and that we need to export one for just regular screens, and also we have an option for providing one for Retina displays so that the logo is can be displayed just as large and as sharp on Retina displays. So, in other words, on a Retina display, the pixel size that you need for this logo would be 2 times, which means 800 pixels wide max and 600 pixels tall max. So let's get to it. Download link is in the videos if I have not mentioned that. Is in the video description if I have not mentioned that already. You can find the video files, the example files here, video 3 files, web files, saving for web. So let's take a look at our image. I'm going to take a look at the image size, which I can go to image size, or hit Command Alt I to check out. Isn't that convenient? Our image is 800 pixels by 600 pixels tall. That's actually kind of an inconvenient coincidence for the sake of this example. So let's set up a file for our logos. So remember, we can size down without losing data, because we're just getting rid of unnecessary data, but we can't go the other way around. We can't create more data from less. So in other words, when I create this file, I want to start with the Retina version. So instead of 400 by 300 at 72 dpi, what I want to start with is 800 by 600 at 72 dpi. I'm using RGB color. This is fine. Okay, I'm gonna just, before I lose anything, go to web files, save for web, and call this export logo. Oh, okay. Good counterexample here. So when you save a file, in the previous tutorial, I did a save as, and I toggled down, I selected Photoshop PDF. So now it's assuming that I want to save files in Photoshop PDF. I don't want that. I'm just going to toggle back to Photoshop. Save for web. I'm going to try this again. Export logo. Okay. I think it's good to just put in the file size here as well, in the file name, just 400 by 300 at 2 times. Okay, so this, I just hit Command Alt I again to look at my image size. So I've got 800 by 600. So this is ideal. I would like the background for this logo to be transparent. I'm just gonna double click on background, and that would turn it into an unlocked layer, so I can just toggle visibility. I'm gonna go back to Ven PSD. So I can see, say in group 1, I've got this fake logo design or whatever. I'm just going to just rename this to logo for tidiness sake. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I want to duplicate all of this into here. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to say duplicate group, and I'm going to put it into export logo by clicking this drop down here, destination document, export logo, and now here we see our file. I really don't need to mess with all these layers, so for file tidiness sake, I'm going to right click, and I'm going to convert it into a smart object. So now this is one layer. The cool thing about this is I can always double click a smart object, open that up as a smart layer, edit whatever in here. Everything's still, all the information is still in here, and save it and close it, and those changes would be reflected here. So anyway, I'm going to right click and change this to a smart layer. I'm going to select layer 0 and just centralize it by using the move tool right there. I am going to maybe make this slightly bigger just to make use of as much as the allowed space as I can, and OK. And I'm going to hit Ctrl S to save my work. Alright, now I'm ready to export once I've turned off the background layer. So what I want to do right now is to save for web. So we went through the formats JPEG, PNG, and GIF. So in this case, the best format to use, I think, would be a PNG. So I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to specifically say Save for Web. I'm not using Save As because Save for Web just has features that keeps the minimization of file size in mind. Save for Web, I'm going to drop down, and I can select PNG 8 or PNG 24. You can sort of play with both here. Again, in the first video, I've in the notes I've provided a link to understanding file depth, bit depth a little bit more. So you can check that out if you wanna understand this in more detail. But basically here you can check out the two different types of PNG files and see right here in terms of file size and of course in terms of the final resulting image, which one works better. In this case, I can't see a huge visible difference between PNG 8 and PNG 24, so I'm going to go ahead and use PNG 8. I want transparency to be checked because I do want the transparent background. Okay, and now I'm going to export at 800 by 600 first. This would actually be the Retina version. I'm just going to hit save. I'm going to go back to my example files here. Web files, saving for web. Again, for just file tidiness, I'm going to create a folder called _exports. Save my exports into that. So this name is pretty correct, export logo. It is 400 by 300 because it's supposed to be displayed at the equivalent of a 400 by 300 size on a regular screen, but we're just giving it double pixel information because it's meant to be displayed on Retina displays, which would then require 800 by 600 pixels. So I'm going to go ahead and save this PNG. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and save for web once again, and this time I'm going to save the 400 by 300 version. You can do the image size here. Again, I'm going to use PNG 8, works perfectly. Save. I'm going to update the file name so it's just this. Export logo 400 by 300 PNG. I'm going to export and save it. There. So by doing it this way, instead of creating multiple PSD files, which then just creates like source file clutter, I have the PSD file at the highest resolution that I need it, and then I'm just using Save for Web to then export image sizes of different versions. I'd say that's the main takeaway here.